Kodash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabaoth, meaning holy, 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 Lord of hosts. Yah, He, Va, He. Those four syllables can be used as a mantra, unlocking a divine frequency. The first Yah signifies the Father who art in heaven. Abba, the architect of the universe, which is the divine masculine. He signifies the divine feminine, which is Mother Nature, the womb of the earth in which mankind was created, formed, and molded. Va is the divine masculine, which is mankind itself. In the beginning, Elohim said, "Let us create them in our image." Key words in that passage. Elohim being plural, more than one. Us in our image, signifying more than one. And back to He, which is a divine feminine as well as the first He, which signifies mother wisdom. On the Hebrew tree of life and Sephiroth, it signifies Chokmah. Chokmah correlates with wisdom, mother wisdom, Anna Chokmah. As a collective whole, creating the tetragrammaton. As above, so below. The macro prosophis above and the micro prosophis below, because we are the microorganisms and the host of the Elohim. Today I'm going back into the secrets of esoteric Christianity, which was in, this stuff was taught in the earlier church, the Gnostics and the Essenes, essentially teaching the metaphors, parables, allegories, and figurative speeches of Jesus, what he was trying to teach the disciples, meaning the discipline. Because once you discipline yourself and you master the laws of nature, which is the Torah, the cosmic law of cause and effect, you will be able to perform the things in which I have and even work greater wonders. That's the concept of what a disciple means in an esoteric sense. Esoteric means inner. It's basically talking about the inner essence. Exoterics would be the external, the physical form, in which, preachers, priests, and the modern day institutions and churches teach now. They teach everything in a physical sense, but not teaching in the aspect of correlating this to your actual life, your physical attributes and your inner essence. Well, today I'm going to talk more about that out of the secrets of esoteric Christianity. We're going to talk about man's divinity as well as the second coming of Christ. And what does that really mean, So we're going to jump right into it and let's have it. All right. We're going to start right here at man's divinity. All right. The Christ initiate informed the inner circle of his followers about man's true essence and the reality in hushed tones. Some of his statements about man can be found in the Gospels. His enigmatic word regarding his relationship with his Father were statements of truth that applied to humanity as a whole and were never intended to imply to the public that he was a unique son of God. As a result of this misinterpretation, perhaps on purpose, of the Master's words, modern Christians worship the Son in the form of Jesus rather than in the light of Christ's divinity within, because there is a particle within us called the crystals, once you reach your higher self of enlightenment, once you rapture from your lower self, your root chakra, in your energy field and your aurora of your human temple and body, you rise the Kundalini energy, through trial and error and experience in life to your crown chakra, which is violet, which correlates with the ultraviolet rays of the sun, because the sun is a plasma producer and it affects all forms of life on Earth. So, as the sun transcends, it awakens us, and it actually opens the spiritual eye. Because right before the crown chakra, you have the third eye chakra, which is considered the pineal gland, and it deals with the intuitive nature of mankind itself. That's why in Genesis it says Jacob saw God face to face at Pineal. It was speaking in a metaphor, allegory and figurative language, that he saw God within himself. That goes back to Moses when he came off the mountain and he said, I am that I am, Ahaya Ashar Ahaya. He's talking about the eternal essence of God, But let's keep going, It says his enigmatic words regarding his relationship with his father were statements of truth that applied to humanity as a whole and were never intended to imply to the public that he was a unique son of God. As a result of this misinterpretation, perhaps on purpose, of the Master's words, modern Christians worship the Son in the form of Jesus rather than in the light of Christ's divinity within. You see that? Within. Now, let's keep going. The precepts of man's divinity have been disregarded, misconstrued, and misrepresented throughout the centuries. The human, mortal, sinful side has been overemphasized to a sickening degree. The light gleamed in the darkness, but the darkness was unconcerned about its origins or source. There are individuals who fear light in the form of truth because its nature discloses the genuine state of things that are unsettling to those who despise upwards spirals achieved via personal effort. Men were declared to be gods by Jesus and other prophets before him. I have said, ye are all gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Psalms 82:6. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Ye do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. Isaiah 41:23. Jesus answered them, it is not written in your law, I said ye are gods. John 10:34. That's 3 sources right there. Now let's keep going. I'm gonna keep reading. All right. The thou art that declaration of various Hindu ideologies echoes the idea that we are more than mortals. This divine commandment of man's divinity is rejected by Orthodox Christians as a doctrine of the devil and is not acknowledged to be true due to their erroneous interpretation of the scriptures and their reliance on dogmas and creeds unilaterally formed by corrupted theologians. People are brainwashed into believing in things that do not reflect reality and which cannot be validated by first-hand experience, where there is lack of intuitive insight, where ignorance and fanaticism reign. The mind and emotions will cause the jiva or soul to become stuck in a quagmire of their own making. This imposes self-limitation and self-restriction, as well as the self-restriction represented in Plato's cave allegory. Man believes what he wants to believe, and he will continue to face the torments of hell, pain and misery, dread and anguish, until he replaces his beliefs and fantasies with the experiential awareness of his divinity. Herein lies evil, for evil opposes all acts that liberate the soul from its relationship with matter, preventing it from progressing on the path of evolution. Therefore, man swims subconsciously against the current that would bring him to the other shore, Instead of going with the current, we're actually going against the current, fighting the natural nature and urge due to altering one reality by way of perception, because it's not that the truth isn't in the Bible, it's the way that the Bible is being preached in a whole nother sense than what it was designed to be, trying to teach you, something that is it's an eternal concept and meant to be used as a tool, to further elevate you in the ascension process of life, but using it as, in physical terms, and as fear tactics and literally, Atheistic scientists regard man as a matter being, meaning a solid object. Religionists regard man as a creation, a creature fabricated by the source for the purpose of glorifying and worshiping itself by making its creatures sing hymns of praise forever, for the benefit of who knows whom, for that which is egoless requires no recognition of itself existence, as it is in a state of completeness, of oneness with the hidden nature of its illusory elements and perceived by man. Prayers and worship are never for the advantage of God, but for the beings that are engaged in honored adoration. You see how it said over here, it says worship in itself, making its creatures sing hymns. Hymns are humming, which are syllables and sound vibration. The whole Hebrew alphabet was designed from star constellations. So when you say the sounds of the Hebrew alphabet, that unlocks a divine frequency like Yah, He, Vah, He, or in other words like Nun, Yah, Tet, Va, Mim, Bayet. When you say those syllables in specific sequences, they actually, those sound vibrations spoken from your throat chakra actually move the spirit, and they actually bring enlightenment, because like Nun Ya Tet, it said that it helps heal physical diseases, bring awareness, restore certain spiritual attributes just by you saying them, All right, we learn about the world sages from their firsthand experiences of what man truly is, and by following in their footsteps, we get to know ourselves. The sages give strategies for knowing the gnosis or the truth. By employing their methodologies, we progressively acknowledge the veracities of their comments about man, some of which were made while in transcendental states. The reasoning for Jesus previous remark, I am the way, the truth, and the life can be readily comprehended by the intuitive sense. Most individuals, at the cost of their spiritual development, focus their consciousness, their intention, their disproportionately and external, meaning esoteric, physical, outward appearance, on a world of illusions. That's why in the Bible it says that in the last days that man would suffer from strong illusions, because they be worshiping the creature more than the creator, This preoccupation with earthly trinkets depletes the mind, body, and soul of the energies required to bring forth the treasures stored in heaven by man's devotion to the laws of the voice of silence. All right, let's go on. Christ is the cosmic nature that exists within each individual. The so-called second coming of Christ takes place within the psyche, where man perceives and manifests his own reality in the world of form, in the Malkuth spirit. See, Malkuth is one of the names on the Hebrew Sephiroth and in the Tree of Life. Malkuth means the kingdom. The kingdom come, the will is done on earth as it is in heaven through mankind. Constantly focusing inward, as in meditation and certain forms of yoga, allows one to keep the necessary amounts of force to awaken and stir the Shekinah. The Shekinah is basically another name for the Holy Spirit, or the Kundalini that is actually rising. It's stirred up within oneself by saying those mantras or those sound vibrations and frequencies, and also using the frequencies of nature and the sun, in the right time, space, and matter due to planetary alignments, That's why it says in the book of Job, it talks about the Mazzaroth. It says you must learn the Mazzaroth. So why when you go to church, they tell you you shouldn't look up, you shouldn't pay attention to the star constellations and the zodiacs, it's witchcraft. But when you look up what the word Mazzaroth means, God was telling Job, you need to understand the constellations, That's why in the Bible, it tells you that Job cursed his birthday, because your birthday correlates with a zodiac that deals with a constellation. When your time and measure is, and when you came through the Stargate, that's how you narrow down who your guardian angel is, That's why in the 6th and 7th book of Moses, it doesn't say that Job cursed his birthday instead of cursing the Most High for his misfortune and the plagues that came upon him. It says that Job cursed his constellation. But once you get into these translations, this is what it's talking about, how you perceive things to be, You alter one's reality by the way of perception, Instead of realizing this is metaphors, allegories, figurative language that correlates to the human body, the human anatomy, and the cause and effect of our nature, Back to this. It says, the Shekinah, the flickering fire of God's manifestation within man, which resides in his heart chakra, which is green, as the tripartite flame of love. And that's what the heart chakra means, love, wisdom, and power. As a spark, man arose from the fiery center of the great central sun. This is where you get Ra from, or Para Brahm in Hindu philosophy. This spark, this unit of Brahma is divine in the essence. It is a representation of God in the making. The divine ego or Atma was generated and personalized as self-consciousness from this monadic spark. It has three personalities: the heavenly spirit, the living spirit, and the human spirit. The Christ in man is the higher part of divine ego, the path to the oneness with the Father in heaven. The monad centered in celestial planes. In Hinduism, Samakaya theory, this monad is Ishvara. And if you notice, it says Ishvara, but in the Quran it says that Jesus' name is Isa. Believe it or not, everything correlates. That's why I don't just call myself an Israelite. I call myself a spiritualite, because I study all spiritual texts and I find the truth based upon consistencies and patterns. The divine ego creates the personality, the Java, which manifests as man in the lower worlds of matter. A component of egoic consciousness is buried in the etheric heart, waiting for the outer consciousness to recognize it and exhibit its essential qualities. In nature and the physical plane, its development is based on the personality, allowing it to express itself freely in its field of action. Man is God and God is man. This is the metaphysical truism that should be grasped mystically. If taken literally, this spiritual truth appears heretical. God is everlasting and limitless, as is man, because man represents the spiritual structure of the broader cosmos. Enlightened people recognize God as the unfathomable and indescribable. When contemplating man's ultimate essence, one finds oneself in a similar position. Man transcends language. It is impossible to express what is beyond and void of physical emotion and mental structure. Egoism manifests itself in the deprecation of the actual ego and the exaltation of the false ego. Indulging in such states of mind preclude spiritual awakening. Man incorrectly identifies himself with the components of his material manifestations. For example, he believes he is the body of the sensations, the mind, and so on. This misidentification halts the development of his divinity's abilities and powers, which develop inside man at the objective consciousness level. As he gains a better understanding of his real existence and expands his consciousness to cover higher states. Egoism is an idol that man unconsciously worships on the altar of his consciousness, and each time he thinks, talks, and acts inadequately, adversely, uncultured, and destructively, he exalts the deceiver of men, the beast whose number is 666. So now listen to the 666. It's actually talking about it. The sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Va. Remember I said Yah, He, Va, He. And Va signifies a divine masculine, which is mankind itself. because it's number 6. Number 6 is man. That's why it says the mark of the beast is 666. The beast is basically a collective society of individuals, principalities, rulers of the darkness, and high and wicked places. And it says that those that didn't take the mark of the beast wouldn't be able to buy or sell. Now you see, everybody that got this jab, it's an unnatural substance that alters the DNA right now here in the time of ascension. The same people that are back the jab are the same people that are backing these GMO products right now as we speak. And Bill Gates is one of them, to be exact, which is a man, and he is connected to a collective society of individuals that go against all the laws of nature and anything that is natural. Antichrist means one that is anti-God. And if you don't follow the laws of God and you believe that the laws of God are done away with, which are the laws of nature, anybody that defies nature becomes an antichrist, because the Christ, the Christos within yourself, you are defying your natural nature of being. Salah, I'm out.